It's May 14, 2025, and I want to read your book. I'm doing this at the same time as downloading a Windows backup, so hopefully my video doesn't chop up. We'll see what happens. But I finished this last night, almost at midnight, and I'm about 30 years late because this came out a long time ago. It might even be longer than that. The movie, it was in the 90s, and I saw that. And I'm not going to do a comparison between book and movie because everybody's done that already, and I'm late to the game. You've either not read this and you're interested in it, or you have read it and have an opinion. So I'm not going to try to change your opinion of it or whatever. I'm not going to try to compare it to the movie, but I will say that I thought the movie was a chick flick for the most part, even though it was quite groundbreaking and interesting. But this book is even better in a way and worse in a way. So I'm going to tell you what I liked about it and what I didn't like about it. So what I didn't like about it is that it's excessively wordy, and I guess that's one of the criticisms that people throw at this. Her writing is verbose, and I got that vibe immediately that it was almost like drama, not horror. It was not like a Dracula book. It was talking and talking and talking and how to get come to grips with being a vampire. And I thought, man, would a monster really care that much, or would he just be a monster? That's the feeling I'd have, that they'd just be a monster. And that's kind of like how Lestat was. He was more or less just a monster. And then you got this other one that's kind of like a whiny little chickish vampire guy. So the things that were pronounced in here that you've probably already read about was that it was kind of like the two vampires were gay in a way, even though they didn't sleep together. So two guys like hanging around together and almost in love. And that was weird. The girl started out that was turned into a vampire was only 5, and her body stayed small even though she became a woman as she aged as a vampire, which that was weird. So the weirdness is worse in the book than it is in the movie, and the talkativeness is worse than it is in the movie. But what was better in the movie or the book than the movie was the scenery was more pronounced and vivid, and the a couple scenes were just extended and just you could see them better in your head reading the book. And the other part about that is the series is very good. I've read, so this is like the setup for Vampire Lestat the Vampire, whatever that second book is called. My wife's reading it right now, and she says it's very good. And then Queen of the Damned is supposed to be very good, which is the third book. So to me, this was a setup for us both to read kind of the series. And then after I got done, it was like I said, I was almost midnight last night. I started reading about the series and Anne Rice, and I was really intrigued with her and everything. And then come to find out she passed away in 2022 of a stroke. And I was kind of like, whoa. She wrote 13 of these books in the vampire series, and it was weird because it was going into her personal belief system and her philosophy, and it was real interesting. And it was like she was here with us, and then boom, she's gone. And that was kind of shocking and bumming for me, but that's how it goes. She was 80 years old, so she wrote a lot of books. And shut up, bird. My bird's screeching in there. Apparently she lost, I think, a daughter at the age of 6 or something like that. So you could see where she would create this young character that was going to be eternal, I guess. But then eventually, I'm telling you too many spoilers probably, but I mean, it's not a spoiler at this point. Like I said, the book and the movie are so old. The girl dies in the book too, so she's trying to work out her own problems in life and um, come up with this, I guess. And so I both liked it and thought it was weird at the same time. Liked it, and then Wade didn't like it, but overall, good. It's quite long at, let's see how many pages here, 342 pages. But I read it in 10-page clip, maybe sometimes 20s. So I spent like 20 days on it or something like that. And it was good to read it slow, I think, because it is so verbose. If you try to Quiet Bird, try to take too many big chunks at it, you're probably going to get a little bit bored. But if you stretch it out, it's better. So onto the Vampire Lestat. At some point, I'm not going to go right in the second book because I got a lot of other good stuff on my shelf up here. I'm thinking about maybe King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table or the Arabian Nights. Not sure. That's East of Eden, maybe. A lot of stuff I haven't read that I want to. So, anyway, better than the movie, in my opinion. Quite bloody and gross at a lot of points, and kind of weird at points. Thought out, very groundbreaking, interesting.